of the Cyprus presidency of the Council of the European Union. We shall start with a visual that also explains the logo behind this 6 months presidency, which will last until June 2026. While thanking also the predecessors of our partners in the current trio, Poland and Denmark. So we shall proceed with a visual which explains the logic behind the logo of the presidency. And in your seats you may have found 2 calendars. Actually, we are pioneering moves. Cyprus will be the only presidency with 3 calendars. The 2 are in hand, and the one I will be explaining orally as we proceed later. In your packs you have the calendar, an notepad, a very nice pen, competing with the English quality. And of course, we are pioneering with a yearly calendar, because we are joining in with Ireland for the 12-month calendar on the one on the recto, and on the verso we have the Cyprus presidency logo with once you introduce into your computer the cy2026.eu, it will take you directly to the presidency website, where we have the 52-page full program and the 9 or 10 pages of the priorities that we are going to not analyze but briefly run through today. And this is for you, Minister.
Thank you.
And without further ado, we will proceed with the visual, and then I will go very, very quickly through the priorities. We will see a visual. And we also have pleased to share with you that we have translated the priorities into this document called dice traducere neoficială in limba romană a textului privind prioritățile realizate de Ambasada Republicii Cipru în România. This is the președinția cipriotă a Consiliului Uniunii Europene, ianuarie-iunie 2026, priorități. This is the document that we'll be sharing with all of you at the end of by email, of course, at the end of today's event. And because we know that most of us are seeking for a back-to-back arrangement with the 12 o'clock event, which is in these days of remembrance of the Holocaust, I think it's important that we proceed without further ado. And if Madame Adamopoulos, Niora, can we start the visual?
Στα Λεύκαρα, στα γραφικά, λουσμένα στο φως σοκάκια, γεννήθηκε μια τέχνη που ταξίδεψε την Κύπρο πέρα από τα σύνορά της. Το λευκαρίτικο κέντημα. Στο κέντρο του το νήμα. Εύθραυστο μόνο του, αλλά ισχυρό και συνεκτικό όταν υφαίνεται μαζί με άλλα. Μια μεταφορά για τη συνένωση ανθρώπων, κρατών, ιδεών και πολιτισμών σε ένα ενιαίο, αρμονικό και ισχυρό σύνολο. Το κοινό ευρωπαϊκό οικοδόμημα. Βρισκόμενοι στο πηδάλιο της Ένωσης για 6 μήνες, η Κύπρος, ως το τελευταίο διαιρεμένο υποκατοχή κράτος μέλος της που προσβλέπει στην ενοποιητική της ισχύ για επανένωση, παρουσιάζει το δικό της σύμβολο για το κοινό ευρωπαϊκό όραμα. Ένα λογότυπο εμπνευσμένο από το λευκαρίτικο κέντημα, σύμβολο της δύναμης που πηγάζει μέσα από την ενότητα. Το λογότυπο της Κυπριακής Προεδρίας του Συμβουλίου της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης αποτελείται από 27 ψηφίδες. Κάθε μία αντιπροσωπεύει ένα κράτος μέλος. Μαζί σχηματίζουν ένα αρμονικό και ενιαίο σύνολο. Την ένωση των κρατών μελών που συμπορεύονται πιο ισχυρά και πιο ενωμένα με κοινό σκοπό. Μαζί ισχυρότεροι.
Well, I sat in the minister chair for 2 minutes in the scary. Well, we also have now just the projection of the priorities as you can find them in the presidency website. You see, as an autonomous union, the motto of the presidency is an autonomous union open to the world that needs to have the necessary internal strength to cooperate internationally as possible, but also to be able to act independently and autonomously where necessary. That is the main motto and the thrust of the policies that will be pursued, will be promoted by the Cyprus presidency of the Council. If we scroll further down, we will see the 5 pillars, the five pillars of the priorities. You see, autonomy, starting with autonomy through security. We are all very much aware of the situations that and the challenges that we have to face as collectively and individually as states. You know, we have a multitude of challenges, starting with wars and terrorist extremism. We have climate challenges. We have the trade wars and tariffs issues. We have migration as a very big issue, regarding both its positive and negative aspects. And the challenge is to be able to proceed in a dynamic, autonomous manner as far as is possible within the constraints that face a political union of 27 member states. As it says, the first pillar is autonomy through security, and it's one of the rationales behind this is that for the first time in the last 30 years after the Balkan conflagrations, we have war on the continent. We have Russian aggression against Ukraine, which has demonstrated the need to and the urgent need to strengthen the European security architecture, including their defense readiness. Cyprus, as a small island state in the corner, the eastern Mediterranean corner of the Union, knows about lack of security. We are living with it on a daily basis, with the continuing illegal military occupation of part of the island. And we stand firmly with the principles of territorial integrity, international law, and unequivocally in that respect with Ukraine, while supporting international efforts for a peace in Ukraine that will be viable and lasting and in line with the United Nations Charter. A more autonomous union must also be able to protect its citizens, its borders, its interests, and ultimately its values. And security means defense readiness, to defend ourselves against any form of coercion. It also includes military mobility, maritime and water security, economic security, proper migration management, cyber resilience. And there I can share with you that we are working with the European Center of Cyber Security competence in Bucharest to organize a seminar for the EU member states and probably also candidate countries that will be announced in the next few days. As regards security, the Cyprus presidency will pursue the swift follow-up to the white paper on the future of European defence and the Defence Readiness Roadmap 2030 as a priority. Advancing implementation of key defence initiatives and flagship projects such as the EU Defence Industrial Strategy and Programme, as well as the Safety Action for Europe initiative. As you may recall, in the last week, at least for Romania, an amount of more than 18 billion has been announced, and 1.8 billion for Cyprus. At least that's the figures that I looked into. Maritime and water security deserve a note of attention, and this would be behind the priority would be the EU maritime security strategy. But security also starts from within, by shifting democracies from foreign interference, disinformation, hybrid threats, and the pressure on media freedom. I know especially that Romania is especially sensitive about this issue, and this is one of the reasons that this priority has been set. You know, about the developments that we had about foreign interference and disinformation and hybrid threats. Strengthening law enforcement cooperation, tackling organized crime, terrorism, and violent extremism are also priorities, as is effective migration management. The second pillar of priorities is autonomy through competitiveness. This means that competitive Europe can be, only with being competitive can Europe be more autonomous. And its competitiveness is not only about removing obstacles, it's also about building capacity and capabilities. Completing and strengthening the internal market remains a priority. Deepening capital markets through the savings and investment union, and prioritizing the modernization of industry. Europe's ability to innovate and produce technologies of tomorrow, advancing hand in hand with the green and digital transitions, are very important parts of the presidency priorities. I will try and skip a few points as we have to make a move. And then, in line with the motto about an autonomous union open to the world, enlargement is also very much on the agenda. From Ukraine and Moldova to the Western Balkans and Turkey, enlargement remains the Union's most powerful and transformative geopolitical tool. It is also a very evident self-evident geopolitical necessity, especially in the way that the events have evolved in Europe in the last 5 years especially. Enlargement is about completing a vision firmly anchored in peace, democracy, security, and stability. And as part of this promise of reunification that the European Union can bring, Cyprus maintains its expectations that it will be able eventually to reunify with Cypriots, Greek and Turkish Cypriot, being able to enjoy freely, like every other EU citizen, the rights to free movement within their own, to live and to work and to enjoy life in the full territory of Cyprus, the Republic of Cyprus. The Union is above all a peace project, an enabler of security and stability, and Cyprus cannot afford to lose the new momentum that we have currently in the enlargement drive that involves so many countries, like we said, from Ukraine and Moldova to the Western Balkans and Turkey. As regards the relations with the southern neighborhood, the current presidency has a main priority to promote projects and additional cooperation in the framework of the new Pact of the Mediterranean. And in that end, I can share with you that for the informal European Council that will take place in Cyprus on the 23rd and 24th of April, the heads of government, the heads of state and government of the 10 participating southern European neighborhood countries will be invited to discuss 3 main pillars of future cooperation for the region. And the ambition and the aim is to be able to promote further cooperation in terms of trade and energy and climate and trade and economic cooperation, and also to see what synergies we can have with the IMEC, the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Cooperation Corridor, And one of the priorities is also to see what synergies we can have with the Black Sea Initiative, how to combine these two EU very important initiatives that are affecting also maritime activities and maritime security, and also the rules of international trade as they are applied to the Black Sea region especially. The fourth pillar of priorities is a union of values that leaves no one behind. Affordable housing is one of the priorities, as it has become one of the most pressing social challenges facing modern society. Cyprus will prioritize progress on the European Affordable Housing Plan, fully respecting subsidiarity and national competences. On another chapter, children and young people will remain at the heart of the priorities, tackling child literacy and poverty and ensuring access to high-quality early childhood education, and protecting minors from both online and offline threats will be a priority. And in this context, the European Action Plan against cyberbullying is one of the instruments that are being promoted. The health union is also central to a more autonomous union. Cyprus will focus on improving access and availability to medicinal products and pharmaceuticals, and by strengthening medical supply chains and enhancing integration of health systems.
An era of more pragmatic diplomacy. But I would dare to say, under your presidency and also Romania's perspective, is that continuing to respect, continuing to protect our values and principles is also a pragmatic approach to international diplomacy. Dear Ambassador, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to be here at the launching of the Cypriot presidency of the EU Council in Bucharest. Thank you, Ambassador Stivaros, and the European Commission representation for hosting us today. We meet today during a pivotal time, not just for our European project, but for the world in general, with a rapid pace of consequential international and regional developments that require strong, assertive, and united European Union responses. Our traditional exchange of views on the Council priorities under the Cypriot presidency today as well is both timely and informative. I want to thank as well the Danish presidency of the Council for all the great work that has been done in the last half a year. We are fully aware that this was by no means an easy task against the backdrop of a very difficult and volatile European and global context, but you have led us well. Romania can certainly share and identify with the core Cypriot presidency objective, an autonomous union open to the world. And these two parts are essential to go hand in hand. We cannot speak about an autonomous union without speaking about the strong relationships that need to become even stronger with the rest of the world. I'm confident that Cyprus will put to good use both energy and commitment in steering the Council's work for the next 6 months, striving for unity and consensus among EU member states, something that is increasingly more difficult but also increasingly more important for our union and for the world. Security, competitiveness, more engaging with global partners, protecting and promoting our core values, represent important tracks of work for all of us this semester. And that, yes, we have just returned from the Davos Forum, where we had the opportunity to attend during this whole week the events and debates with institutional actors and stakeholders. And the last week has also confirmed our reading on the current evolutions, namely that we are living in a world where geopolitical decisions must be based on a balance between pragmatic diplomacy and the values and the common principles we share within the European Union. Now, irrespective of the overall debate, we are strong in our clarity of the fact that the European Union has definitely a significant role to play in today's world fast-changing developments. Although speed is not a word people would use to define the way the European Union works. It is up to us to manage to find a common ground on how to better promote our interests worldwide and build stronger partnerships. And yes, we need to move faster, but without losing our wisdom, without losing our capacity to engage institutions, the member states, the citizens, the civic space and the business environment. We have a duty to advance our common European project that remains our solid answer to this rapidly challenging regional and global environment, marked by uncertainty, growing strategic and economic competition, and rising levels of instability and conflict. The Cypriot presidency can indeed help steer the agenda of the Council, not only with expertise, but also with consensus-building skills, something that is absolutely essential. Either we talk about the very difficult task of advancing negotiations on the future multi-annual financial framework, or about concrete actions for bringing forward enlargement, something we should have done a while ago already. The Cypriot presidency can fully count on Romania as an active and reliable partner to strengthen the European project. As echoed in Davos as well, the emergence of a new world order demands us to act in time, not only by clear positioning and words, but also by clear decisions and actions, to stay grounded regardless of uncertainty. We have to work on multiple levels, and I am glad to see the Cypriot program addressing many of the issues of interest to Romania. We will continue our multifaceted support for Ukraine in the face of continuous Russian aggression. The two strategic directions remain clear: increase the pressure on Russia, and also maintain the support for the resilience of Ukraine and the negotiations of enlargement. Pursue the work on improving our security and defense in cooperation and in complementarity with NATO. And maybe now it has become increasingly more clear and more essential, I would dare to say, why it is needed that we have a stronger collaboration between NATO and the European Union. Yes, it is important to continue strengthening the EU's defense autonomy and to implement the measures that are decided upon. We actually had a press conference at the government level yesterday announcing our plans for the SAFE program. It's going to be a key half a year. Romania is the second country in terms of the amount of the financing available to us. And the plans that were announced by the government yesterday show clarity on how this will not only enhance our security and defense, but also increase the number of jobs we have at home, protect the jobs that are now